Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another match reaction, another defeat for Sheffield United, this time away to top of the league. Now, I guess you can understand us losing to top of the league. We're bottom of the league, they're top of the league. But it's another disgraceful performance. And mostly, let's just, be as basic as we possibly can and say we haven't had a shot on target again. Again. We've had 8 shots today, apparently. Loads went over, loads went wide. We hadn't had one shot on target. Danny Ings had one that was deflected wide, which isn't counted as a shot on target. How can you score a goal if you can't get a shot on target? Just simple as that. Like, that is how basic it is, really, when you think about it. If you don't have a shot on target, you can't win a game of football, and you shouldn't really draw a game of football as well. Expected goals today 0.45. They only had 1.08, which I find ridiculous because they could have scored 5, 6, 7 goals today. How does this keep happening? Why do we keep playing the same team week in, week out, or the same formation week in, week out, the same tactics week in, week out? It's not good enough. Do you know what? We've lost 3 games in a row, 3 home games in a row. We've lost 4 games in a row. We're playing the same system week in, week out. If Ruben Sayers would have come out today and said, we're going to play something different. We're going to play 5 at the back, be very, very tight, stop them from scoring. They are top of the league at the end of the day, so they should be quite good at scoring. But we didn't. We did it again. We played 4 at the back. We've got a right back that should be a centre back, in my opinion, because he ain't got the pace. He doesn't kind of push himself onto the winger. He stands off and stands off and stands off. This is Ben Godfrey I'm talking about. And I'm not blaming Ben Godfrey because I know he's played quite a lot of games at right back, but he's a centre back. He's over 6 foot, I believe. Like, he's not that mobile. So when he's coming up against really fast, really tricky wingers, I think it was still Silvera in the first half. I think he got taken off at half time. But that just shows if they've got someone that's causing us havoc and then they take him off, I think that says something about their strength in depth. So we're playing a right back who's a centre back who I think should play centre back, who I think's better than Bindon. I don't actually think Bindon had a terrible game today. There were a few bits in the first half that really got my goat, but I don't think he had a bad game today. But I think Godfrey should be playing centre back with Tanganga. As much as I don't think 𝗍𝗫 had a great start to the season, having 2 big, strong centre backs next to you will help him out no end because at the start of the season, he was playing with Reece Davies and Bindon. Now he's playing with 2, or he could be playing with 2 big centre backs. There's a possibility that 𝗵𝗵 comes in as well. So there's lots of experience in there. So I would be playing 𝗍𝗫 at right back, and I would be playing um, Tanganga with Ben Godfrey at centre back. And that's if I'd play a 4. I'd actually play a 5 in this. And hold my hands up, I don't have my coaching badges. I'm not a manager. So whatever I say, you don't have to go anywhere with it or do anything with it. But just watching the Blades as a fan, it just feels like we need to play 5 at the back. If you're conceding goals, play 5 at the back, especially away from home, because you don't have to play the same system for every single game. Now, played at home against Millwall. We play, and don't get me wrong, Millwall beat us, but they weren't that good. We should have got something out of that game. Not because we were good, but because Millwall weren't very good. Then you go to top of the league and you play the exact same system. 𝗍𝗫, I like 𝗍𝗫, and I think 𝗍𝗫 had a really, really good season last season, but he was next to Vini Souza. Now, I'm not saying that I could look good next to Vini Souza, but Vini Souza, I'm not saying anyone can play next to Vini Souza. What I'm trying to say is he offers that defensive solidity. He's going to come in and help you out a lot. 𝗍𝗫's got nobody helping him out. And when we've got defenders pushing forward, 𝗍𝗫's having to run back. And He's a man on his own that's having to do everything. He's receiving the ball off the defenders. He's receiving it on the half turn, trying to twist and turn, get himself away and pass it out wide. I think he's getting scapegoated at the moment, 𝗍𝗍, but I think he's been hung out to dry by Ruben Sayas, if I'm being completely honest. We are playing 𝗚𝗏𝗏 and 𝗍𝗏𝗏, especially early on, should I say, because I know Gus went deeper and deeper and deeper to try and create stuff. But we're playing Gus and 𝗚𝗏𝗏 as two number eights, and they are way too advanced to help 𝗍𝗍 out. 𝗍𝗍's all on his own, and it's not worked, and it's not worked, and it's not worked. And believe it or not, against top of the league, it still doesn't work. So what have you got to do? You've got to change it. Something's got to change. And I'm going to title this video as "It's Time to Go," and I feel like it is. It's time for Sayers to go, because it's not just that we've lost 5 games in a row. Now that's scandalous. That I don't think I've ever seen in my lifetime a Blades team lose first 5 games of the season, whether that be cup or league, in a row. Like, it's 5 games, and a lot of people are going to say he needs time. He needs time to embed his system in there. But time feels like it's over for me right now. Time feels over, because if it's not working, you've got to change it. And the owners, if we don't sell 𝗍𝗏𝗏, which is obviously what all the speculation's been, and I won't get on to talking about, you know, in people leaking information and stuff like that. I'm trying to watch what I say here, because I certainly don't feel like I can say what I want to say. But if 𝗍𝗏𝗏 does stay with us, um, the owners, you've got to say, are putting a strong squad together. Like, if Alex Matos comes off, if Manor Solomon comes off, this is going to be a strong squad. Danny Ings, I thought when he came on, Danny Ings has got a lot to offer us. If he can stay fit for the whole season, he's going to score goals. He's going to create chances. He's going to cause havoc for the defense. I thought when 𝗍𝗍 𝗏 came on, I thought he was a little bit ropey at the start, but I think that's because he's not played for such a long time. But you can see he's got that quality. You can see he's got that drive. That's going to be exciting. But another thing Ruben Sayers has done is the fact you've brought in these exciting attacking players like 𝗏, like Danny Ings, and then you bring on Cannon and Ioane. Bearing in mind, hold my hands up, Ioane put the ball on a plate for an equaliser, or what potentially could have been an equaliser for Sam McCallum, who skied it over the bar. But it shouldn't have been Ioane. It should have been 𝗏 coming on, trying to change something, trying to do something different, because until today, I thought Ioane did okay today, but I honestly do feel like Ioane's had a really, really mediocre to poor start to the season. So bringing him on in front of 2 new lads that could just offer us something completely different, just I felt was a terrible decision. But I thought Callum O'Hare had a good first half. I'm trying to really, really think of players and who actually pulled up some trees today, because it was a shocking performance, another shocker of a performance. We ended up having 53% of the possession, but that's literally just because after they scored, they sat back. They did an us. They did an us from last season, but they've scored a goal. They've stayed in front. That's what you need to do to be towards the top end of the season. We obviously knew that from last season, and we did that a lot last season. But, the reason that they did that is because we weren't offering anything. We were offering 0 things going forward. Obviously, we had that, as I've just mentioned, about Ioane crossing for Sam McCallum. Ings had a shot from outside the box that took a deflection, as I mentioned earlier on. That could have nestled in the side of the goal. Peck had a shot from distance that went over. I think Burrows might have had one, or maybe I'm thinking about the game before. My brain is just absolutely fried with terrible possession-based football and getting nowhere with it. There were so many times as well when we could have broken on them, or we got into a really, really good position from a counter-attack and then just did nothing with it. Andre Brooks had so much of the ball today and did barely anything with it. There was one where he turned inside, and then just lost it. That's criminal. if you're getting into a position like that, whether you go inside or outside, you've got to make a really quick decision what you're going to do. If you're going to go left, fantastic, have a shot, pass it to someone. If you're going to go right, you need to get down that byline and get a cross in or get a shot on or something. You can't turn inside, wait and wait and wait, and then turn again because you're going to have three men around you really, really quickly. And that's exactly what happened. So, very frustrated. I'm actually really frustrated in Andre Brooks as well because he's been given so many opportunities by Wilder last season. Sometimes he took them, but more often than not, he didn't take them. And this season, I don't know if I've seen him have one good game or have a good half even. He gets a lot of the ball, and when he gets a lot of the ball, you would think that something he would do something of note. I remember a lot of things that Louis Barry's done this season, not necessarily today, even though he had a lot of the ball as well, and we probably should criticise Louis Barry just as much as Andre Brooks. But you can see that Louis Barry is trying and trying and trying and trying. Andre Brooks slows everything down too much, and then it's like, right, what's he going to do here? At least when Louis Barry gets the ball, he moves it quickly and he tries to do something. I actually do feel like Louis Barre is potentially not at this level. I feel like if we do bring in a left-sided player, I think Louis Barry will end up being a player that comes off the bench and maybe comes on when players are tired because he has the ball a lot. He tends to hang on to the ball a lot. I want to say he does a lot with it, as in he does create chances. However, I just feel like he gets knocked off the ball way, way, way too easily and runs down blind alleys a few too many times for me. But he's still been better than Andre Brooks this season and even today as well. So, as you can probably tell, I am really, really frustrated with what's happened today. There were rumours knocking around that this could be Caesar's last game if we lose, even if we'd have nicked an equaliser or even crazier than that, won this game of football today. Playing like that, no. Win, lose, or draw, you can't be the manager if you keep making the same mistakes over and over and over again. Now, last season, a lot of fans were talking about we needed to wait for someone to do work a bit of magic. But we were strong at the back. We kept the ball well. We kept getting the ball in and around the box for someone to do said magic. But now we're not even getting near the box for the majority of the game. I think it was 70th in the 70th minute. We had one shot off target, zero shots on target, which we know it ended up zero shots on target. But we're nowhere near even having a good attempt on target. Never mind scoring a goal. We hadn't scored before this game. I think we hadn't scored in was it 3 hours of football? No, 300 minutes. I can't remember. Something crazy. And for a team that won so many games last season, yes, we've lost the defensive destroyer. Yes, we've lost a centre back, but and obviously we've lost a lot of loan players and stuff like that. But we've also brought in a load of loan players, and yes, it takes time to gel and stuff like that. But we've still got some fantastic players at our disposal, and we've lost to Bristol City, Birmingham, Middlesbrough. Have I said Millwall? Can't remember. I'm trying to think. Oh, Swansea. We've lost to at least two of those were certainly beatable. Two out of the five were certainly beatable, and it's not good enough. Something needs to change, whether that is the manager or whether the manager goes to a back five or back three, if you like. I think Ryan O'Neill was playing as a right wing back at one point today. So I don't know what that means. I don't know why that's happening. And yeah, it's all a little bit too slow, passive, and we're just not creating enough. And that's the problem. Can we just say, I know I've ranted a lot here, but Tanganga, other than the goal, which, you know, people can make mistakes, I think he misjudged where Bindon was when the ball was played through to him because he was a bit lackadaisical in getting back. He certainly wasn't for a lot of them, though. There was a couple, I think there was one where he kind of did. an incredible two sort of slide tackle block. He headed one practically off the line in the first half that was destined for the back of the net. Michael Cooper beaten. He was always in the right place at the right time today. As I said, mistake for the goal. And actually, if you liken that to 𝗲𝗲 𝗚𝗏 from last season, he made a mistake away at Middlesbrough for their goal when they beat us. And these mistakes happen to really, really good footballers. And I'm not saying it was a huge mistake, but I think he just assumed that his centre back partner was a bit closer. And it was a great ball through from Matt Targett, in all honesty. And that's Premier League quality, isn't it? And Conway managed to find the bottom corner. It felt a bit scruffy, a bit of a scruffy finish. Might not have been, but it felt that way. It felt like it just kind of trickled into the corner. And I felt like Michael Cooper probably could have done a lot better for this one. So I don't know whether, these sorts of, because I thought Burrows had a shocker of a game as well today. Defensively, that was. Attacking, he was okay, but defensively, he was awful. So it almost feels like all the players that are, rumored to be leaving are having a shocker so that we keep them. And then they end up, going and playing better after the window shuts. Let's hope that's the case, because I can't see why West Ham would be interested in Burrows watching that game of football. Michael Cooper's always going to be, speculated about, but I don't think he's had a particularly great start to the season. I don't remember too many really good saves that he's made this season, and he's letting a lot of goals. I'm not saying any of them are his fault, or I'm not blaming him at all, but I think he could have been better this season, Michael Cooper. So there's a long way to go. There's a hell of a long way to go. I was a little bit excited for today's game because I'm thinking Chong coming in, Ings coming in. We're gonna got more players coming in as well by all accounts. So I'm looking at this thinking all the current players are gonna have to step their game up massively. I don't even know if they're wanting to step the game up, because it felt very disjointed. It felt like none of them actually wanted to play for each other, or the manager, and it just, they didn't look like they wanted to, even score a goal. Like, they certainly didn't look like they wanted to get back into the game. There was no urgency, no rush about anyone, and I realised that I've just ranted for almost 20 minutes, and that's it. That's all you're getting from me today. I'm not going to critique certain passages of play because there wasn't really a lot there. I think Middlesbrough were better in the first half. I think we came out okay. Middlesbrough were better in the first half. Second half, I feel like they sunk down to our level, and then obviously got the goal, and they had a couple more good kind of breakaway chances when we've kind of tried to go for it. But not good enough again. I feel like it is time for Ruben to leave. Obviously, he's not going to leave. He needs to be made to leave. That's 5 games where it's not been good enough. We've scored two goals in 5 games, one being a goal from the halfway line. We've not scored in our last 3, I believe it is. It's time. It's time. We've just got to bring somebody in now, whether it's, obviously lots of fans are going to be saying Wilder. Lots of fans are not going to be saying Wilder. But also there's, 𝗍𝗫𝗍 out there that I'm sure he'll get us winning games of football, whether it's pretty or not. It probably doesn't matter right now. We've gone from let's play great football to let's just win a game of football, and let's just try and score a few goals and keep a few clean sheets, because again, we've not kept a clean sheet. It's not good enough. Let's see what happens next time. But for me right now, I feel like he's got to go. Let me know, Sheffield United community, what you think, whether Ruben stays or Ruben goes. We'll probably do a video in the coming days about fans and what they feel. We'll try and get a bit of a mix of people, and then we'll obviously talk about, if he does go, who's going to replace him. So all of that information that I've just thrown at you there, leave it down in the comments. Answer to all those questions. Do you want him to go? Do you want him to stay? If you do want him to go, who do you want to replace him? If he does stay, what has to change? I've given you my thoughts. Now you give me your thoughts. Thanks for watching, ladies and gents. And I'll see you for the next one.
𝗚𝗿𝗚𝗿𝗚𝗚. 𝗚𝗿𝗚𝗚𝗚𝗚.